How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah. Hey, I'm Rosemary Nonny Knight, the Prosperity Minister. I support ambitious spiritual people to manifest the money and the resources they need to live luxuriously in their purpose. Listen into the episode. I'll see you at the end. Listen, you are safe, you know. You are completely safe when you let me, the divine, keep you safe. When you trust me, the divine, with your life. The problems come when you cut yourself off from me. When you trust the physical reality and try to force it to be your safety net. It cannot be because it is subject to you. I am your safety net. I am your source. The physical reality is a product of your imagination and my power. It cannot keep you safe, so stop looking to it. You and I, my love energy flowing through you, energizing the seeds of your every desire. This is where life is created. Lean in, trust. You and I, so that's the connection. Love energy flowing through you, because you're open to love flowing through you. That energizes the seed of every desire within you, because the seeds are planted within your subconscious mind. You decide what it is that you want to create into the physical reality. And by allowing love energy to flow through you, it automatically is watering the seeds, as I like to call them, within your subconscious mind, which I like to see as the garden. Now, this was something that I taught in a lot more depth last year. It was called an immersion series called It's All Already Mine, or something along those lines. Or it's The Divine Yes, or something. If you want to find out more about that, you can ask me about it and I'll send you in its direction. But anyway, you carry the seeds of your desires within your heart. Your heart, subconscious mind, kind of the same thing. As you allow yourself to be loved by the divine, rather than giving into thoughts of you're not being worthy enough or you're not safe, those seeds then get watered by love. They grow. And with enough focus, enough attention, they will transform from the inner world to the external reality. Which is not necessarily actually what we're talking about today completely, but as it came up, I thought I'd mention that and remind you again that you are the authority in your life. You are the one planting those seeds within you. You are the one choosing where you're going to place your focus. You are the one choosing whether you're going to allow yourself to feel loved. You are the one choosing whether you're going to allow yourself to feel safe on this planet. And you are also the one that's going to always chooses, whether you see the source, you see the divine as your source, or whether you continually believe that the physical reality is your safety net. So again, you are safe. You are safe. You are safe. So not eventually, not when things kind of improve, not when numbers in your bank account or wherever line up. You are safe now. You are safe now. It's not something you need to earn. It's something you allow yourself to feel. And the best way I have found to allow myself to feel that, one, is to stay in the present moment rather than projecting all my fears into, oh my God, what's going to happen? Am I okay right now? Am I okay right now? Yes. That's one way of feeling safe in this moment. And really, this moment is all there is. Another thing is knowing that you are one with the divine. The divine is in everything, everyone, everywhere. When you really appreciate that and you are one with this divine being and the divine is your source, what have you to be afraid of, really? The fear comes when you look to the physical reality, which you have a hand in creating, out of your connection with the divine. Your thoughts and what you're focusing on, you are creating the physical reality. I know it doesn't feel that way. For the most part, it feels as if the physical reality exists and we have to kind of make up, and we talked about this yesterday, the physical reality goes up and down. There's a tendency for people to think as it's going up and down, they go up and down with it. But we, as deliberate millionaires, need to realize that our source is steady. The divine is steady, is unchanging. In some ways, I was brought up religious, and religion teaches a version of the divine is, or God is the same today, yesterday, and forever. Absolutely. But that also, there's a limitation that comes with that. A limitation that says that there's nothing more, that it's all been created, it's all been done, and there's nothing more. There's nothing more, but it's not true. Even the divine is continually expanding. So yes, there's a certain amount of unchangeability in that all things are created in the divine. So there's nothing to be afraid of because you're never going to be outside of the divine. There's nothing to be afraid of in that way. At the same time, you can still allow for continual self-expression, continual expansion. beyond what we can even completely understand. So when I say the divine in some ways is unchanging, it is true in that everything exists within the divine. There's nothing that exists outside of the divine. So there's nothing that is, because you know the divine is completely for you. So what is there to be afraid of? What is there to be afraid of when you really appreciate that? So it doesn't matter whether the divine is completely unchanging in the context of, well, there's never any expansion, everything that is known is already known. I feel as if, or my sitting down with the divine, there's this feeling of continual fulfillment, continual expansion, always expanding, always growing outside of the realms of time and space. And understand, in terms of your safety, you are within the divine, you are one with the divine. The divine is in everything. Everything is in the divine. There's nothing to be afraid of. You are the authority in your life. As deliberate millionaires, we really need to get an appreciation of this so that we start to learn to use that authority to create life a lot more deliberately and a lot more predictably, rather than, oh, well, the physical reality seems to be on up right now, so I feel great. If the physical reality seems to be on a down right now, I feel horrible. And so therefore I'm going to act in a way that constricts me because I'm scared. You don't have to go up and down with all of that, because your safety lies in your knowing that you are one with the divine, and the divine is in all things, and all things are in the divine. So there's nothing to be afraid of. Unless it's an experience you choose to experience, you're not going to be experiencing it. That's it. So it does come down to, so it's like, without making you feel, because the idea of none of this is to make you feel as though you're being judged, or okay, you know how sometimes somebody gets sick and there's this feeling of, it's something I did. And there's an element of, that's something you allowed, yes. And so, but it's not for you to then start beating yourself up because, oh, it's all my fault. That doesn't actually solve anything. It's a recognition of your power. And so if I created this, I can create that. I can create whatever I choose. I just need to be aware of what I'm allowing now, and then choose to allow something different. Ultimately, you are completely safe when you allow the divine to keep you safe. Because the divine is in all things. The divine is aware of what you would rather experience. The divine is aware of what is going on inside of you and all of that stuff. And only what you allow will be allowed. So you can feel safe in that. And instead of worrying about what's happening in the physical reality, you can simply look and see, what am I allowing? What am I choosing? What am I choosing? What am I choosing? You're an eternal being. You're not going anywhere. Yes, you're going to leave the physical reality at some point. But you're not going anywhere ultimately. You are an eternal being. So when you really appreciate these little seeds that I'm trying to plant inside of you here, you will stop being afraid. You will stop being so afraid. It's going to take some practice. It's going to take some doing. And we're very, very focused on our current reality, which is the way it's supposed to be for now. But we as deliberate millionaires, we kind of need to open up to the idea that there's a heck of a lot more going on than meets the eye. Not in a fearful way, because we know the source is our safety. Safety is chosen. The feeling of safety is chosen. And in choosing it, as you deepen that connection with the divine, which is why I give these divine downloads each day, so that you sit with the divine each day. And whatever you see as the divine, there's no, oh, it has to be God, or it has to be Jesus, or it has to be this, or it has to be... No. What works for you? What works for you? What makes you feel like you're connecting with the vastness of everything? And make that personal to you, because the divine will present the divine self in a way that feels good to you. Because when you think about it, when you are everything, it doesn't matter as much what identity you show up as, because you're everything. Whereas when you're like us, that feel as though, particularly before you go down your spiritual journey and everything, you feel as though this is all you are. It's very precious what your personality is. So we project those ideas onto the divine and think, oh, I'll be disrespectful if I try to see the divine the way I want to see the divine. But you're looking at it from your perspective, which is very limited. When you see it through the divine's eyes, you realize it's not that big a deal. Religion makes some things unnecessarily huge when they don't need to be huge. The problems come when you cut yourself off from the divine. So your safety is chosen, as I said. So even when money fluctuates, even when plans seem to wobble, even when circumstances change, you can still choose to trust rather than cut yourself off from the divine and think that you're abandoned and think it's just you trying to figure everything out on your own and think that you're being punished or something, or you've done something wrong, or some mistake is now forever, you're going to be paying the price for this mistake. I've had clients where this happens to them, and it's like, enough, let's stop. Okay, you might have made a mistake, but actually, is it a mistake, or was it just a misdirection? Was it just trying to get you to go on a different road? Yeah, you realize that didn't work, so let's try something different. We don't need to take these things. When you fully own that stage 3 practical mystic thing, you realize you're going to make mistakes, but that's part of enjoying the physical reality. It's not something to be so afraid of. It's difficult, especially when you're surrounded by other people who do not understand these things. You appearing too flippant about the mistakes you've made can make them very offended. Ultimately. And so then you trying to protect them from, or protect yourself from their offense, you start to try and think like, it just gets really complicated. But we are deliberate millionaires. Understand that you are opening up to new ways of seeing things that other people may not appreciate just yet. But that's okay. They're allowed to have their journey just as you're on yours. Do your best to stay on your lane, mind your own business, and let them mind their own as well, regardless of how close they are to you. You are safe. Coming back to safety. If you trust the physical reality to keep you safe, it's like trusting your toddler to keep you safe. Your toddler needs you to know and to keep them safe. It's not the other way around. You are creating the physical reality. Expecting the physical reality to keep you safe is kind of weird. And inevitably, you will feel afraid because internally, you know that actually the physical reality is very much subject to you. So you thinking that it's solid and should be unchangeable, you know already that that's not true. You may not choose to notice that part of you that knows it, but you will feel unsteady. You'll feel anxious because you know the physical reality is subject to you. As well as from an energetic perspective, we are giving the physical reality energy. That's what keeps it going. So when you try to take energy from the physical reality in order to feel safe, when actually you're supposed to be getting your energy needs met from the divine, you feel the fact that you're pulling on a very limited source of energy. That makes you energetically nervous. When you lean into the divine, and again practice, you lean into the divine because you practice leaning into the physical reality. It has made you feel anxious. That's one of the reasons why you're here, whether you're conscious of that or not. But anyway, when you lean into the divine, you start to sense that there's an endless source of all that you need and desire. And it's love energy to begin with, because everything is love energy materialized. So connecting to an endless source of love energy means that you will never run out unless you choose to cut off the supply. But you can become a lot more aware of how am I cutting off the supply, and it will take some doing, it'll take some work. That's why, again, the check-ins are available so that I can help you see where you might be cutting yourself off, or private sessions are available. I can help you see where you're cutting yourself off. That's part of the goal of these things, to help you see what you may not be able to see yet, but as you practice this stuff, it becomes more and more apparent to you where you're cutting yourself off from love, where you might be believing something that is not actually a universal belief, but because you believed it for so long, you act from that belief and continue to see it manifested in your life. And so you think it is true. And in terms of safety, again, coming back to safety, connecting and staying connected, intimately connected to the divine, gives you free access or endless access or limitless access to love energy. And as you learn to focus that love energy on what it is that you choose to create, you learn to predictably design your life. You learn then, or you realize again, that you're safe, because you're safe. You can create whatever it is that you choose. So what is there to be afraid of? You are connected to the source of all that, or source of all that there is, what is there to be afraid of? The physical reality cannot keep you safe because it is subject to you. That is from the divine download. And that is true. What is created cannot be your protector. You will appear to be functioning because a lot of people do live from this place of the physical reality is all that there is. And as long as as long as it is good, then I am good. So it can seem normal to live that way, but we are deliberate millionaires. We recognize it is not meant to be that way. Not if we want to live a free, fulfilled, financially abundant, love-drenched life, whatever that means for you. The divine is your safety net. The divine is your source. The physical reality cannot lead. The physical reality responds and reacts and rearranges based on your desires, not the other way around. The divine is your safety net. Again, the divine is your source. So the safety doesn't come from your savings or the systems in your business or systems in your life or whatever, or the people in your life or guarantees. No, they're just expressions. They're not the origin of safety at all. Okay. They're just expressions of you actually and your beliefs. All these things, the people in your life are an expression of you, really, because what you've allowed or who you've allowed into your life. So you don't confuse, we deliberate millionaires, we do not confuse channels where our prosperity may come from with the source of where our prosperity actually comes from. What else? So there was you and I, my love energy flowing through you, energizing the seeds of your desire as well. I did already kind of talk a little bit about that, and allowing love energy to flow through you, which means that it will be watering the seeds in your heart, and you will see them manifest as long as you do not keep changing your mind with, oh, I just think it's going to work. And then you give up on it. And then you get excited again and you try again. And then you give up on it before it's actually manifested in the physical reality. Let's stop playing that game with ourselves. It's just painful. It makes life just draw out unnecessarily long. Yeah, it causes disappointment when you just keep changing your mind all of the time. Do your best to hold on to your vision all the way through to manifestation. Lean on the divine. Learn to trust the divine. It comes with practice. Doing the daily ritual every day is the practice. Reading the affirmation every day, it is the practice. Doing your gratitudes, it helps you notice when your capacity is changing. All these things are designed, they're put in this container to support you to create the life you actually are meant for and want. Lean on the divine. The divine is your safety. The physical reality is a response to you, not something that you can lean on. Contemplate everything that I've said here. Maybe listen to it again. If you're ready to take your first step onto the deliberate millionaire path to a free, fulfilled, financially abundant, love-drenched life as defined by you, then get the I Am the Authority affirmation music album and meditation program. The link will be in the description. And if you would like to speak to me directly, the link will also be in the description. Speak soon. See you soon. I hope you had fun.